In the vast deserts of the American Southwest, where red sand meets the endless horizon, there is a silence that feels alive. Among the Navajo people, that silence holds an ancient warning, a name not spoken aloud after dark, the Skinwalker. In the Navajo tongue, Yinaldlushi, the one who walks on all fours. To speak of it is to invite its attention. To know its name is to risk being seen. Long before the cities and highways, the Navajo believed the balance of the world rested between harmony and chaos, light and shadow. Medicine men could heal, but there were those who turned their gifts toward darker purposes. The Skinwalker, they said, was once a healer who embraced forbidden rituals, craving power over life and death. To achieve this, he broke the sacred law, the holiest taboo, taking human life. That act forever twisted his spirit, binding him to a curse of shifting forms and endless hunger. They say that after crossing that line, a man loses his shadow. His reflection fades, his heartbeat slows until he can take the shape of the beasts he once hunted: wolf, coyote, crow, owl. The transformation is not a blessing, but a torment, each change pulling the soul further from humanity. Even among the elders, the topic is avoided. Only whispers pass between the firelight and the wind, stories told to remind children never to stray from the path after dusk. Some legends speak of the Skinwalker's eyes, glowing, empty, reflecting no light. Others say its voice can mimic the sound of anyone it has seen, calling your name from just beyond the tree line. The stories are not meant to scare. They are warnings that the desert has its watchers, and some shadows belong to those who gave up their souls long ago. And as the night deepens, when the stars fall behind thin clouds and the coyotes grow silent, the desert wind seems to whisper that name again, Yinaldlushi, carried softly across the sand. Transformation, they say, is not a single act, but a slow unravelling of the soul. For the Skinwalker, it begins with a ritual performed under a moonless sky. The air must be still, the desert silent. In that space between breaths, the transformation takes hold, not with light or fire, but with the sound of cracking bones and the grinding of shifting skin. The body bends, reshapes and stretches until the man becomes something less than human, something that walks on 4 legs but remembers how to stand on 2. The ritual itself is forbidden to speak of, but it is whispered that it demands a token of death, the bones, the skin, or the spirit of a creature whose form the witch wishes to wear. Once the ritual is done, the creature's essence merges with the human, creating a being caught between 2 worlds. The Skinwalker can change at will, slipping into the body of a wolf, a fox, or a coyote, its movements jerky and wrong, as if the body remembers it was never meant to move that way. Its human form is far worse. Those who claim to have seen one up close describe a figure that looks almost normal at first glance, until you notice the details. The skin stretched too tight, the limbs slightly too long, the eyes gleaming with a pale animal light. The smell follows it everywhere: decay, iron, and dust. Even when it stands still, it feels as though the air trembles around it, the desert itself holding its breath. But the true curse of the Skinwalker is not the body, it is the voice. It can mimic the sound of those it knows, crying for help, whispering your name in the dark. Hunters have followed those calls only to vanish into the canyon, never to return. Others say they saw figures watching from a ridge, shapes that seem to flicker between man and beast, disappearing when approached. Every transformation leaves a mark. The longer the Skinwalker wears another shape, the more its humanity fades. Its eyes hollow out, its voice deepens into a hiss, and its memories dissolve into the instincts of the creatures it becomes. There are stories of those who changed so many times that they could no longer find their true form, doomed to wander as shadows, slipping through the desert night, forever half beast, half memory. And somewhere in that endless wasteland, beneath the rustling of dry grass and the call of the owl, The wind carries the faint echo of movement, too fast, too quiet, too unnatural, a reminder that something ancient and cursed still walks the land. The Skinwalker is not bound to one place, yet its presence lingers strongest in the barren lands of the southwest, where the desert breathes like a sleeping beast beneath the moonlight. It is said to dwell near dry riverbeds, abandoned settlements, and the skeletal remains of forgotten pueblos. These are places untouched by time, where the wind whistles through hollow stones, and even animals refuse to stay after dark. To wander there at night is to step into its hunting ground. Those who live near these lands tell of strange things: coyotes walking upright, owls with human eyes, footprints that shift from paw to bare feet before vanishing entirely. The Skinwalker is a patient predator. It stalks its prey for nights, studying their routines, learning their voices. It knows how to sound like someone you love, a child calling from outside, a friend asking for help, a whisper so familiar that it draws you from the safety of your home. That is when it strikes. It never rushes. Fear is part of the hunt. It likes to linger on the edges of campfires and doorways, letting its victims feel watched before they see it. Some say it knocks on windows, others claim it scratches at doors with claws made from bone. Cattle found dead, their eyes gone, their bodies drained. These are its signs. No one hears it coming. By the time the dogs bark, it's already too late. The silence that follows is the only warning left behind. The Skinwalker's connection to the land runs deep. It moves with the desert wind, slipping through shadows, leaving no trace. Sometimes it travels with storms, its howls mingling with the thunder, its scent carried in the dust. Old Navajo herders speak of nights when all sound dies, when even the crickets go silent. That is when they say the creature walks, unseen but close, watching from behind the veil of the night. And yet, not all who encounter it perish. Some return, pale and hollow-eyed, unable to speak of what they've seen. They describe a presence, not fully seen but felt, a shadow that breathes, a shape that mimics their every move. The air turns cold, their own heartbeat deafening in their ears. Then, nothing. When dawn comes, they find themselves miles from where they last stood, barefoot in the sand, with no memory of how they got there. No one knows what the Skinwalker seeks. Some say it feeds on fear, others that it collects souls to grow stronger. But perhaps the truth is simpler, that it hunts because it can, because in the endless desert night, it has forgotten what it means to be anything else. Fear is the Skinwalker's true weapon. It is said that the creature feeds on it, not the way a beast consumes flesh, but as a spirit drinks in energy. The more terror it spreads, the stronger it becomes. Among the Navajo, people once believed that even speaking its name could call its gaze, a glance from beyond the firelight that chills the blood and marks the soul. The fear of that glance has survived generations, whispered from elder to child as both a warning and a prayer. But where there is darkness, there is always resistance. The Navajo medicine men, the Hatale, know the old ways, the rituals meant to protect against the unholy. To fight the Skinwalker is not to meet it in battle, but to cleanse the imbalance it brings. Sacred ash circles drawn with corn pollen, chants older than language, and smudging with white sage. These are the barriers that can confuse its spirit. Some say that sprinkling ground turquoise at your doorstep can ward it off, while others hang bits of juniper and ash to repel the evil. Yet even these are temporary protections. The Skinwalker is patient, and patience is stronger than any spell. It is also believed that if you know the true name of the creature, the person it once was, you can destroy it. To speak that name aloud is to tear away its power, forcing the curse to turn inward. But finding that name is dangerous. The Skinwalker hides among people, living ordinary lives by day, masking the rot that festers beneath their human skin. Elders say the eyes never lie. They glimmer with a faint red light when caught by fire. To accuse the wrong person is to bring ruin. To accuse the right one may seal your fate. There are tales of hunters who tried to confront it. Some claimed silver bullets could harm it, while others swore by blessed arrows and songs sung backward beneath the new moon. None of these stories end in triumph. The hunter becomes the hunted. Tracks that should have been clear vanish into nothing. The desert grows quiet and the night seems to lean closer, listening. Even in modern times, fear persists. Ranchers in remote corners of Arizona and New Mexico still report cattle mutilations, voices in the dark, or shapes moving just beyond the beam of their headlights. They say phones die, engines stall, and the air grows thick, as if the land itself remembers the old terror. And perhaps it does. The desert holds memory after all. It remembers every footstep, every whisper, every scream swallowed by sand. So when the wind howls through the canyons and you feel that prickle at the back of your neck, that instinct to look behind you, remember the old stories. Some shadows are not made by light. Some follow because they always have. For every creature of darkness, there is always a fragment of its undoing. The Skinwalker, though nearly immortal in its cruelty, is not invincible. Old stories claim it cannot cross lines of ash drawn with intention, nor step through spaces sanctified by prayer. The smell of burning cedar, the sound of rattles in a purification chant, these things disturb it, reminding the creature of what it once was, human. And that is its greatest weakness. It cannot fully shed its origin, no matter how many shapes it steals or skins it wears. Deep inside, the remnants of the person still ache beneath the curse, forever at war with the beast. Those who have faced it and lived say that courage is its poison. To show no fear, to refuse to run, this confuses it. The Skinwalker feeds on dread, on trembling hearts and quickened breath. A calm mind starves it. But courage alone does not save everyone. Some have met the creature's gaze, eyes glowing like dying embers, and survived, though forever changed. They say the encounter leaves something behind, a residue, a haunting that never fades, dreams filled with running feet, the sound of claws scraping against stone, the echo of their own name whispered from unseen lips. The few who claim to have destroyed one tell conflicting stories. Some say fire can cleanse it, but only if the flames are fed with the same materials used in the curse. Others believe that a mirror can trap it, forcing it to confront the human reflection it abandoned. There are whispers that sunlight weakens it, though most agree that it prefers the shadows, emerging only when the stars are veiled. None of these methods are certain. The Skinwalker exists more in the realm of fear than of flesh, and fear, as everyone knows, cannot truly die. In the modern age, the legend endures, evolving with each retelling. The deserts of the American Southwest have become hunting grounds not just for the creature, but for curiosity itself. Paranormal investigators camp under the endless sky, armed with cameras and sensors, hoping to capture proof of what the Navajo have long warned against even speaking of. Strange lights, distorted voices, animals behaving unnaturally, all are blamed on the Skinwalker. And when the night stretches on too long, when even technology fails to explain what they feel, the silence itself becomes evidence. But perhaps what keeps the story alive is not proof, but belief. Every culture has its version of a shapeshifter, a creature that mirrors the worst in humankind. The Skinwalker is ours, a reflection of the dangers hidden in power misused and knowledge sought without balance. It is both myth and memory, a shadow born from our oldest fears. So, if you ever find yourself alone beneath a desert moon and the wind shifts without warning, listen closely. If you hear your name whispered on the breeze, do not answer. Keep your eyes low, your fire burning bright, and your heart steady. Because somewhere out there, beyond the reach of your light, something ancient is still watching, waiting for the darkness to take you in.